morning or afternoon, everyone, depending on when you're watching this. It's great to see you all again. I hope you enjoyed last Monday's assembly and used it to help you to remember to be resilient. I hope that you're all enjoying your Easter holiday too. The adults at school are looking forward to seeing what you've been up to with your Easter projects. As you know, I have the value heroes staying with me whilst we all keep safe and stay inside. Let's go through them again. Who do you think this might be? Nearly. Have another go. Yes, you're right. It's Respect for Rio. And what about this one? Keep going. Nearly there. That's right. It's Determined Derby, who helps us to be resilient. What about this one? Well done. This is Confident Clyde. And this one? Kind Kelby. Well done. And two more left. Who's this? Nearly. Last try. Brilliant. Inclusive Immy. And the last one is... You already know it. Well done. This is Aspirational Adley. Great job. So, in today's assembly, we will be using Inclusive Immy and the value of inclusive to help us. Remember, I might ask you some questions and you or your adult could pause the assembly to have a go at answering them. Let's have a look. Have a look at this picture here. What can you see? How do you think Marjorie the cow is feeling? Why do you think that? What do you think the cloud above Marjorie symbolises? So, Marjorie is the main character in the story I'll be sharing today. It is the cow that laid an egg, written by Andy Cutbill. So, let's see what happens in our story today. The cow that laid an egg. I don't feel special, said Marjorie. I can't ride bikes and do handstands like the other cows. I just feel so ordinary. Look at all of the cows. Can you see Marjorie? If you were one of the other cows and you saw Marjorie, what would you do? Yeah, I think I would as well. I would go up to Marjorie and find out how she's feeling. I would try and be inclusive in me and actually being a kind cowbee too. That night, the chickens had a cunning plan. They whispered. The following morning, there was an almighty commotion in the barnyard. I've laid an egg, shrieked Marjorie. All the other cows were astonished. None of them had ever laid an egg before. Even the farmer came running. Oh my goodness, he cried. Marjorie's laid an egg. The farmer's wife called the local newspaper. People came from far and wide. We're extremely proud of Marjorie, announced the farmer to the crowd. Marjorie felt much more special now, and the chickens were as pleased as Punch too. But the other cows weren't so happy. Our bicycle riding and handstands feel rather ordinary now. Something's funny's going on. Cows don't lay eggs. Moo!
Chickens lay eggs.
We don't think you laid that egg, the cow said to Marjorie. We think the crafty chickens did it. Marjorie felt shocked. Prove it, said the chickens.
So they all waited for the egg to hatch. Day after day they watched as Marjorie sat on the egg to keep it warm. But nothing happened.
Until suddenly one morning they heard a noise. Tap, tap, tap. Here it comes, shouted one of the cows, and as Marjorie stood up, the egg cracked open and out hopped a small, brown, feathery bundle. There, said one of the cows, nodding. It's a chicken. Suddenly, the tiny creature looked up at Marjorie. Moo! It said loudly.
Marjorie smiled and held her baby tight. A cow, she said, and she promptly named it Daisy.
So not only were the other cows not being inclusive like Immy, but which other values were they not using to help them? You're right. They weren't being a respectful Rio, or showing respect, or a kind cowbee, and they certainly weren't being kind. Which ones would you be using in the story, and why? So, in that story, we saw Marjorie being very upset and sad because she felt ordinary. She didn't feel like she was one of the other cows, and the other cows didn't help her. They weren't being inclusive, they weren't showing respect, and they certainly weren't being kind. In the end, when Marjorie did lay an egg, again, they couldn't believe that she could be special enough, like one of them. In fact, they didn't believe that she could be special at all. So, let's take time to reflect. Our school value inclusive helps us to be inclusive and welcoming to everyone. Marjorie said she didn't feel special and that she felt ordinary because she couldn't do what the other cows could. When she did do something special and different to the other cows, they didn't believe Marjorie. Because of this, they made her feel left out and useless. I wonder how they would be with Marjorie now they know the chicken went moo like a cow. All over the world, there are so many human beings who have differences. For example, some have different beliefs, some have different needs, some have different genders. However, being different is something which should be celebrated. Everyone, everywhere is working together to stay safe. I want you to take a moment to reflect, and instead of focusing on the differences that separate us, let us celebrate how we can all join together. Thank you for listening to today's assembly. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.